All right, I'm Old Guy Gamer. This is American Truck Sim. This is attempt number 4. Let's see if this works. Whoa. I don't know why I'm backing up at a way station, but that's the way they've got the thing set up. That should be plenty for us. And drive. Okay, now we're going. Alright, like I said, I'm Old Guy Gamer. I got a ride along with me today. I don't know how she showed up here in the middle of a way station in... Where are we? We are in Ogden, Utah. Actually, we made it pretty far. We left Spokane, Washington. We drove all the way through Idaho. Now we're in Utah, and we are going to Colorado. Sterling in the northeast corner of Colorado. So that's where we're at. We are probably just going to drive 8 hours today, and this is looking pretty good because this is like my 5th attempt at starting driving. I installed 2 new memory sticks on my computer, and I overclocked them to bring them up to the speed I want them to be. And for some reason, my computer started... Well, not the computer. The game was crashing when I first turned it on. So I don't know if it was something to do with the memory sticks or if it was something to do with some corrupted mods, maybe. I uninstalled all the mods I had on the game, and now it's running. So maybe it was something with the mods that was messing us up, because everything looks like it's going well right now, and hopefully the graphics will be better. I've got my wife along here with me today, sitting in the passenger seat.
Hi, Old Guy.
Hey, been kind of quiet so far, just letting me talk and ramble. So are you going to be able to find something to talk about today? We've got a short day, just an 8-hour driving day. So we're going to have to talk quick.
It's a little bit long on my terms.
Well, it's 8 hours in the game time, so it's only going to be 10 or 15, maybe 20 minutes in real life. So right there on the lower right corner of the screen, there's the GPS. And on the upper right corner of that, there's a time that says 5:30 a.m. That's the in-game time. So I will actually need to stop and get gas here pretty quick, which is going to take away from our awake time that we can stay up and play. But hold on, I'm really going crazy here. I gotta.
Really wild.
No, like the mouse is messing up and I can't. I'm trying to do it while I'm driving and it's not working. There's where I normally have it. Okay. All right, now we can go. My goodness. Woo. All right, let's get back on the road here. All right, so did you have something you want to talk about, or do you want to go through the book and find something to talk about?
I'll go through the book.
Okay, so we picked a page. We just gotta
Page randomly.
Yeah, so read all of the prompts that are on that page, both pages.
Okay.
And then if someone has something that they want us to talk about, they can leave a comment in the bottom of the video and let us know. If we don't pick their thing that they want us to talk about, we'll talk about it some other time.
Question number 1. List 5 facts about yourself that people don't know.
Okay.
Question number 2. Describe 3 really awkward moments in your life.
Yeah, I don't want to do that one.
Number 3. What is something you're currently saving money for? How important is it to you?
Yeah, that was the one I thought we might talk about.
Number 4. What area of your life needs the most improvement, and what plans have you made to improve it?
Okay.
And number 5. What 3 professions do you hold in high regard, and why?
Truck driver, preacher, and hooker. Boom. That one's done. Mark that one off.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but still. Okay. Actually, that's Randy Travis' song, 3 Wooden Crosses, popped into my head. And I was like, there was a bus driver, a hooker, and a preacher. I just changed it to truck driver because we're driving
Well,
a truck in the game.
the country wouldn't run drivers.
That's why it was the first one that popped into my head. Do you want to
So-
do about the what are you saving for?
Sure.
Yeah. I try not to give out too much personal information, but we do have a thing that we've been saving for that we've been talking about, so we can use a video game to announce that. I mean, it's not like it's expensive.
Oh, what is it?
Well, a piece of property. I mean, eventually it leads to a house, but the property's not that expensive.
Yes, the property's not that expensive, but we're not positive on that piece of property.
I'm pretty positive.
Almost positive.
Yeah. We like the neighborhood. Like 2 weeks ago, we drove out to an area in western Illinois that we wanted to investigate, and we really liked it. We drove around, we looked at a bunch of different properties that were for sale. We had lunch at the golf course that was in the area because it's literally like the only restaurant, and it turns out it was like the day that the restaurant opened. There's a lake, there's a pool.
It's
at
the
this
only
neighborhood.
restaurant on the property.
Yeah, but it's like the only restaurant.
There's
Wow.
restaurants in the area.
There's like that little pizza place like at the gas station, which I don't really count that as a restaurant.
No.
But it's like in the middle of nowhere, so I wouldn't really consider it. Oh, there's a helicopter. There's some police activity. I saw a helicopter. Must have taken off running from a traffic stop or something, chasing them. So this neighborhood we like is in the middle of nowhere, but it's kind of like halfway between. Well, not quite halfway, but it's between where we live now and where my parents live. So we could visit either one easier. Plus, if our adult kids decide to settle here or somewhere farther north of here, it's still not too far away. And what we learned is, well, it has an association. That's one thing I don't like. Do you want to do pros and cons of the area we picked?
Yeah.
Because that was one thing I didn't like, was that it has an association. I really wanted to live in a neighborhood that didn't have an association.
Yeah, and
Or in an area that didn't have an association.
and the thing is, if we bought the land now, we would have to pay the association fees.
Yeah, until we build, which
Would
would
be
stink.
multiple years from now.
The drawback to wait, well, that's the drawback to buying now, but the drawback to waiting is the piece of property we want might be sold by the time we actually buy.
I feel that if it's not sold and it's still there when we want to build, then it's meant to be.
You mean that's meant to be?
Yeah.
There were two main lots that we had to choose from. Both were the same price. Both were about the same size. One had a view and one was more, I don't know if secluded is the right word, but it was a little bit, there was one with a view and then there was one that was a little bit bigger, but it didn't have a view. So we were thinking about the one with the view that's smaller is in a cul-de-sac. The one that's bigger without a view has some mature trees on it, like in the corner.
Yeah, but the neighbor has an octagon house.
But Sherry doesn't like the octagon-shaped house for the neighbor.
Well, it's not.
But if we bought a piece of property now, we could grow trees between now and then. We could plant some.
Then we'd have to pay the
Sure.
association fee monthly.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is this neighborhood has a $2,000 a year association fee, which we would have to pay if we bought a lot intending to build in 5 years. So not perfect by any stretch. But neither one of us really know what we want to do. But I did find the right house, though. We've been looking at floor plans for houses that we would like to build on the dream property.
The
And
dream
we
property
finally-
with a view.
Well, we finally found a house that would be appropriate for that piece of land, for that view. It's not too big, it's not too small. The plans themselves aren't astronomically expensive. They're just pre-made plans that you order online and they send you. Ooh, that truck is like in my face. So it's not that we're saving up money for the property, because we could just literally pay cash for this property we're looking at. But it's the monthly cost of the association that's holding us back. And then we're saving up to build the house in a few years when we retire, if that's the route we go. So that was the one thing that we're saving for. How is it worded in the book? What are you saving up for?
What are you saving up for, and how important is it to you?
honestly, I think the property is important, the location, because it's a nice place to retire to. I don't think the house is as important, because I think we could live with a way smaller house.
That's true. But yeah, the property has a lot of amenities. It is nice.
Yeah.
It has a lake.
There is a big lake in the neighborhood. Yeah.
It has a beach.
So we could consider buying a
Pontoon
boat or something. Yeah.
Or we could kayak or
Yeah.
whatever.
Just guessing up here while we're talking.
It has a golf course. And
There is a golf course, and when you pay the association fees, you get to play for free. I thought that was pretty cool.
And they just opened up the restaurant there.
Yeah, so at least there's some place to eat.
And there is a ski hill during the wintertime that has tubing and
skiing, yeah.
There's a pool.
Oh, that's right. There's an indoor pool and an outdoor pool.
Yeah.
We did stop by and take a look at the pool, but it was, obviously it was pretty busy. It's the middle of summer. So it was full of kids and families. Nice pool deck for, sunning out and all that kind of stuff. So
They do pool-like activities like pool parties and water aerobics type of thing. There is a...
Oh, what is there? Like a 6-mile track around the edge?
Yeah, there's like a 6-mile...
This neighborhood is kind of known for their...
snowmobiling and dirt biking?
Yeah, it's like dirt biking, but the side-by-sides are really big in this neighborhood because there's that 6-mile track that goes around the neighborhood. So there's like videos on YouTube of people going around that track. And they say it's a walking track as well, but if there's side-by-sides on it, I don't think I'd be walking there very often.
It looks a little rough for walking.
But it's there, yeah.
And then there's...
Oh, and there's the RV park too.
Campground, yeah. There's tennis courts.
I think it's worth it for the $2,000 a year. When I said I wanted to be away from an association, I wanted to be away from the kind of associations that we lived in the past. Like, I didn't want an association that's telling me to hide my garbage cans or how tall my fence has to be.
Or you can't build a shed.
I can't put a shed up or put in a basketball hoop or something like that. This neighborhood, the association didn't seem like that. Now, they had some rules as far as architecture and how to build the house, but I didn't see any of the rules that scared me away from the place.
I think their only rule is that you can't camp on your property prior to building a house.
That was one thing, is you had to build the house first. You couldn't build, because my idea was, could we build a garage, use it for storage while we build the house? They don't allow that. You have to build the house first, which makes sense. Of course, then my next question was, how small of a house can I build? Which we never got an answer to.
I think she said any size.
Yeah, I thought they did too, but it'd be kind of funny if you built a 2,000 square foot garage and a 500 square foot house.
Tiny home.
Kind of defeats the spirit of the rule, I would imagine.
Right.
Don't want to move into a neighborhood and be the ones that everyone's angry at because you circumvented the spirit of the rule, even though it might meet with the letter of the rule. But we've been thinking about that a lot lately, just because we're close to retiring. We both have our retirement dates in our mind. Not so much set in stone. Everything's fluid for us. We can stay longer if we want, but we have an idea of when we want to retire, what that date is, and we're kind of trying to set ourselves up so that everything works so that we can leave on that date. We're renting now, so we don't have to sell a house. Both of our cars will be paid off before we retire. We won't have any credit card debt, and it's just a matter of where we want to go and live, really. So
That's about right.
leave a comment if you have a place you think we should check out during our travels. We're probably going to start a travel vlog, one of those couples travel YouTube channels eventually. What else? You think we covered that pretty well?
I think so. Okay, another question.
Oh, you're going to do another one?
Yeah.
All right. Might as well knock a couple out, as long as it's something we want to talk about.
3 really awkward moments in your life.
Don't want to talk about it.
Come on.
I didn't really want to talk about that one because I don't know about. I don't know if I'm that easy to embarrass, but I can't think of what my awkward moments would be that I would talk about. Like, I remember my sister was asked this question. Talking about passing good. My sister was asked this question a long time ago when we were kids. Like, she was maybe in high school or just out of high school or something.
We're not talking about your sister. We're
I know,
talking about you.
but she had a story, and I was like, I don't even have one that's that. I mean, it wasn't a big deal what her embarrassing story was, but I don't even have one that's that good. Like, I don't know what was it embarrassing story? What was the word they used?
Awkward.
Awkward. Yeah. It sounds like you have a story you want to tell me. Do I know this story before you start?
I think so.
Okay. Well, tell the world.
Well,
See if they enjoy it.
I think, first awkward one for you when you and I were together. On our wedding day, I was walking up the stairs of the church, ready to walk down the aisle, and I was wearing that
The garter belt?
Garter belt. And it was falling down. It was falling down my ankle. And I was like, wait. And my dad's like, you don't have to do this. We can leave. It's okay. And I'm like, no, my garter belt is falling off. So I gave it to him and put it in his pocket, and we walked down the aisle. And so that was pretty awkward.
And he's ready to cut bait and run, shove you in the limo and leave.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah. And then, what? Any other awkward moments? I'm sure I've said
Well, do you know of any for me that I am forgetting about?
I don't know.
I just think I'm the kind of character that I just don't get embarrassed by things.
Didn't you break something? I don't know.
I was at a garage sale one time, and a guy was selling a Harmony remote, an infrared Harmony.
Oh, yeah.
Electronic computerized remote. And I've always had Harmony, nice remotes, that can control multiple items in your system. So all you have to do is use one remote, press one button, and then everything turns on. But this guy had like the top of the line, like hub model. Oh, what the heck is this?
But he was asking like a lot of money for it.
Well, we were at a garage sale in a neighborhood, and it was like a retiree neighborhood. So it was a bunch of old people, and none of them had really good stuff in the garage sales. But this one guy had his son there, and his son was selling stuff. And his son was selling the nice hub system for this top-of-the-line Harmony remote. We'll say I sneezed and software stopped working, stopped recording. So anyway, this guy is selling this Harmony remote, and I pick it up and I look at it, and I'm explaining to Sherry what it is, and I dropped it on the ground. And I'm like, oh, and I picked it up and like wiped it off because it got a little dusty or whatever.
And it was like...
And it was a little scratched.
I think the battery...
It was a little scratched, but it worked. I turned it on, and the battery, the screen still worked. Everything was fine. It wasn't like the screen was cracked or anything.
The battery popped out or something.
Yeah, so the battery cover, I just put it all back together and turned it on, and everything worked. I'm like, oh, good, it still works. I'm like, I don't think I want it. And I gave it back to the guy. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything else. I'm like, I don't think there's anything else we need. Have a nice day. Good luck with your sale. And we just walked away. I'm like, Sherry, let's go. It was the worst feeling ever. Aww. And I wanted to always go back and be like, hey, if you don't sell it, I'll come back and buy it. Or here's $20, mark it down because of the scratches. That might have been at least somewhat acceptable, but I didn't even do that. I just
the face he made, and then the way I think we were just like,
I think he knew that like there was no right thing that he could say. There's only I could either do the right thing or run, and I ran. So
that was pretty awkward.
That was pretty awkward. I felt bad. I thought about going back later in the day, because it was one of those community garage sales where everyone was having garage sales at the same time. So I knew that was like the last day of the sales. So I thought about going back later in the day and just buying it from the guy. Just saying, hey, I felt really bad. I wanted to see if you sold it. And if you still had it, just buy it from him. Because that would have probably made it all better. But I didn't do that. That was awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a horrible person. Judge me. Oh.
Anyways.
So I guess we should say leave a comment if you have a more awkward situation to tell about. I kind of forgot about that one. Maybe I blocked it from my memory.
Yeah. Well, accidents happen.
Well, you know what? There was we had the awkward situation together when we first got married and moved to Maryland. I was in the Army, and we had this apartment.
Oh yeah.
And we were just a young couple. We didn't have kids yet, but we were newly married, and we were in a Walmart one day, and this guy walks up to us and is like, "You guys look like you young go-getters." And we're like, "Yeah, we are young go-getters." We must have, I don't know what he was thinking, but he was an Amway salesman, and he got us to go to his meeting, and we went, and then we realized what it was. We talked to my dad, because my dad sold Amway like way back in the day. And I think my dad said, "Run." You know, unless you have a store and you're buying your stuff to sell in a store, he's like, you're never gonna sell that stuff door to door to your friends, or it's just a pyramid scheme, you know. So we knew right away it wasn't gonna work out. But us being young and introverted and didn't want to cause controversy, or we weren't confrontational, there were so many times that guy would come to our apartment and knock on the door, and we'd be hiding on the other side of the door, just
we'd be
hoping he wouldn't notice.
We'd be unprepared, and we would have our blinds open or whatever, and he'd go knock on the door, and we'd be like,
we'd just dive.
We'd dive and crawl on the floor until we got to like a safe room where he couldn't see us.
Yeah, it was pretty awkward. But he eventually got the point and stopped coming by.
Oh gosh, so stupid.
Yep. I do remember I got invited to a church one time when I was single, before we got married, when I first moved to Maryland. There was a guy from one of the other units, like in another building, another unit of the military. He, no one warned me, but he invited me to church one day. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna love our church, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "We'll pick you up, we'll drive you, we'll bring you home, all that stuff. We'll give you lunch, all that stuff." So I went with him. I don't know if I ever told you this story.
I don't recall.
So I went with him, and I sat in like the back row of this like conversion van that was stuffed with his family. And I went to this church, and it was like in Baltimore, so it was like an hour away, and it was like in the inner city, so it was like a really bad neighborhood, and it was just like a storefront church. And I went in there, and it was the most awkward church service I've ever been in, because they were all speaking in tongues.
Oh goodness.
And the whole thing was just chaos. The whole service was just chaos. And I was just sitting there like mortified, like, what is going on? How am I going to get out of this? And it turned into the same thing. Like when we finally got out of there, I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. You know, I'm trying to be nice. So we got lunch and went back to the barracks, and I never talked to that guy again. I don't even know how I ever even met that guy. He must have just been one of those outgoing types that was, you know, looking for new people to invite to church. But I was not having any more of that. That was one of the most awkward things I've ever been involved in as far as a church service goes.
Good
That was
job giving
really
it the
weird.
benefit of the doubt, though.
It was weird because it was like even a small room, like even in a storefront, it was like a small room with a drop ceiling, and it was like maybe 30 chairs, and like every chair was packed. And, it was just so foreign to me. And nothing against people that speak in tongues, but I don't believe that's the thing. And we go to a Christian church, and it was just really awkward because I knew right away. Like he didn't say that in his sales pitch. Like, "Oh yeah, we speak in tongues. We throw snakes around the room." I mean, that's the only thing that could have made that situation worse. Is if he like broke out the snake box. And,
Oh gosh.
"Come here, Tom. Hold the snake."
You're like, nope,
Like, no,
out.
thanks.
I'll find my way home.
I'm done. Oh, look at that. We are in Colorado. I was looking at that sign thinking it might have been a rest area. I didn't even realize it's... I looked at the wrong clock. I looked at the Saturday that says 7:30. That's when we're scheduled to be into our stop. It's only 12 o'clock noon, so we got a little bit longer. We might be able to make it all the way to our stop. Now that I'm sitting here, I'm thinking that the last time I played this game, I can bypass the main highway station. Sweet. The last time I played this game, I just remembered this. It popped into my head. I was pushing the limits of how far I could go because I was so tired and sleepy. And I was getting to the point where it was going to like crash me because of how tired I was. But I drove until the last possible minute, hoping that I'd be able to make it on this last leg of the journey, the last leg of the trip. And it looks like we'll be able to make it because it says it's 7:32, and I have almost 7 hours. Okay, I accidentally hit the wrong button. It says I have almost 7 hours of awake time left, and I'm only 7 hours away from my stop. So maybe I should hammer down and try and make up some time here. Maybe I'll do that for.
You ever get gas?
I did. Stopped while we were talking. But I need to make up some time, so I'm just gonna hit the gas. Speed limit is 75, so maybe we will be able to make up some time here. I doubled the amount of memory. I had 32 gigs of RAM, and I upgraded it, doubled it to 64. And I don't really think it made the graphics better, but I haven't seen any stuttering or anything like that, so we'll see how that goes. Pretty happy with it so far. There's Denver. This is the new DLC, the latest DLC that I bought. This is Colorado. I didn't own this a couple weeks ago. Okay. Whoa. Why is there people just stopped on the highway? That's crazy. Whatever.
Okay, another question.
You're not skipping pages, are you?
I am.
No, they need to be all on the same page because I write them down. You can do multiples on the same page, but don't change pages because I gotta write them all down when I edit the video.
Lost your page.
Well, you gotta find it because I gotta write them down eventually. I don't want to do all 400 writing prompts on the same
Never mind,
video.
got it.
You'll just have to save it for another video. Or tell me that you want me to talk about it when you're not here.
List 5 facts about yourself that people don't know.
We've done that 1,000 times. Remember that game, that Kahoot game that we play all the time? Not all the time, but that Kahoot game that we've played a few times?
Oh, yeah.
We always make the girls and their new boyfriends play Kahoot with us.
Well, they're new boyfriends.
Well, I mean,
They're not new.
we've only done it like twice, but both times it's been.
The
when
boys
there's
have
a
been
new-
around for a while.
Yeah, but it was first with Heather's boyfriend, and then we played it again. Matt was probably the second time, but it was because Vanna had a boyfriend, a new boyfriend in the house.
Past the awkward, yeah.
Plus, it helps them learn a little bit about us. Playing those Kahoot games where you have to make up questions about yourself, and then everybody answers the questions.
So we do that. That's one thing.
Well, it's an
people don't
interesting way
know.
of opening up conversations. Like all of a sudden, my daughter's boyfriends know that I used to own a Camaro, so then they know I wasn't just this old guy with hot daughters, basically. So I don't even remember what other things we talked about. They pretty much know what all my old cars were. What else? And that we travel a lot. That is one thing I think we did well. We took our family on a lot of trips. We did driving trips to, Wisconsin Dells and to Missouri, and we did a driving trip to Florida, plus we did a Disney trip where we flew. So the girls have been on a plane, they've been on cruises, they've been to other countries twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they appreciate it.
well, it doesn't matter if they appreciate it now. The point is we gave them experiences that we didn't have.
True.
I mean, when I was growing up, we always did driving trips for vacations. And it was almost always associated with my dad's work, where he had to do a work trip 1 week every year. And so that was just our vacation every year, going on the work trip with my dad. And I know you guys did vacations, but the one I hear you talk the most about is the Disney vacation, or the vacations where you went to Florida to visit your grandparents who had a condo down there.
My grandparents had a home, but
Or a townhome, whatever it was.
a regular home.
A regular house, okay.
But one summer, just my brother and I were sent down there. We flew the airplane. My grandparents picked us up from the airport,
Really?
and then we spent a week with them. So it was just my brother and I.
Which brother?
My Keith.
The older brother.
My older brother. But the driving trip was that we drove.
Did you have a new car on that driving trip?
No, we had a station.
I remember
wagon.
it was a station wagon. I just thought your dad
It might
have
have
said
been
something.
newer. I can't
I
remember.
thought your dad said something about it being a newer car.
We had a van, and my parents, prior to the van, we had a station wagon, and then after the van, we had a station wagon. My mom,
Yeah.
there's 6 of us, so when this newer station wagon came out, they special ordered it.
Oh, that's when they went to the auto show and
Yeah,
did all that.
yeah, and so
They're the only people I've ever known that went to the auto show to actually buy a car.
yeah,
Everybody else goes just to see what's new, and I've never heard of anybody buying a car because of the auto show.
and they special ordered that station wagon.
Yeah. Do you remember what kind of van you had?
No, it was brown.
Like a big full size, a conversion van or anything?
It had it was a conversion van. It had like a plush seat in the back that could lay down like a bed. And then
Seems like everybody had those back then.
it had 2 like captain chairs in the middle.
Yeah.
And then
You don't remember if it was a Chevy or a Ford or anything like that, though?
no.
I remember my parents once took a trip. There was 4 kids in our family, and my older sister and older brother were finally old enough to watch me and my younger brother while my parents went on a trip. So they went down to Missouri, and they left in one car and they came back in a different one. They bought a conversion van while they were down there on vacation. Oh, whatever they went down there for. They bought a van and they came home with a 87, maybe? It wasn't brand new, but it was a few years old. 87 Chevy conversion van, like what you're talking about, with the bed in the back and the 4 captain's chairs, and all the wood and the velour and all the accent lighting. I don't even know if it had a TV or anything, but that was like the fanciest car we ever owned, and my dad hated it. He always said it had so many blind spots, he hated driving it. And he drove vans all the time. When he was doing construction work and stuff like that, he always liked having the vans because all the tools were, inside the van and carry supplies. But he really hated that conversion van. They didn't keep it very long.
Yeah, I don't think the van lasted very long in our family as well. Maybe a few years or so.
Well, what's funny is those conversion vans, you don't really. I don't know. They were popular for a really long time. Like even 10 years ago, they were still making conversion vans, but it's almost like they just stopped making them. Maybe everyone got into RVs or something.
Or big Suburbans and SUVs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only time we went to a vacation as a family and we drove was going to Disney World.
Was your Disney trip as a kid similar to the one? Would you compare it to when we took our kids to Disney?
No.
How is it similar or different?
It was like National Lampoon's Vacation.
Because there's 6 kids in Sherry's family, so
Yeah.
I would imagine there's more catastrophe around every corner. But do you remember seeing like
Yeah, we went to
Cinderella's castle and all that stuff?
We just went to what is that one called? The Disney World? What is it?
Epcot or Magic
No,
Kingdom?
Magic Kingdom. We went there and that's it. I don't even remember much of it. Maybe like.
Well, how old were you?
I can't
It
remember.
would have been late 80s maybe? Or mid 80s?
I want to say it was probably, I want to say it was before my brother was born, so there were just 5 kids.
So 84?
So maybe I was probably 8.
Okay, so it would have been early 80s then.
Yeah.
Do you remember how long you stayed there?
We stayed with my grandma, so
Oh,
we
and
only
you just
had
got the tickets to go
yeah,
visit
we
the
only
park?
had like one day in Disney, and then we went to SeaWorld and had a day in SeaWorld. And then I remember my dad wanting to go to Kennedy Space Center, so we went to Kennedy
Oh my
Space
gosh.
Center.
Did we ever even tell him that we saw the shuttle launch on our plane trip? Do you remember that? You don't remember it, do you?
I do remember it, but
We were flying into Disney. It was the girls' first trip. And we had 4 seats because there was 4 of us, and you 3 sat on the right side of the plane, and I was on the aisle on the left side. And you could see the contrail smoke going up from the Kennedy Space Center because the shuttle took off.
well, they announced it.
As we were landing the plane in Orlando, and the pilot comes over the intercom and tells him, and everyone starts cheering and clapping, and it was such an amazing event, and it was out your guys' window.
Yeah.
But you have to remember it. Because I
do
leaned
remember.
over and I was practically in your lap looking out the window.
I do remember.
Trying to see it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the girls remember it. But did we ever tell your dad that?
I don't remember. I don't
What was his
recall.
fascination with space?
I don't know.
Just wanted to see because it was cool.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That'd be something I'd be interested in seeing again. Whether it's NASA or SpaceX or whatever. I was on the computer the other day looking at some town that Elon Musk is building in Texas along the U.S.-Mexico border, like right on the Gulf of Mexico. I forget what they're calling it, but it's basically he's building a city to support his space satellite company. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it's kind of cool. And what I just heard, like literally within the last couple of days, is he's building another whole city in, I want to say Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, just to the west of Sault Ste. Marie, like in the middle of nowhere. He's just building a launching pad and
For his drones, doesn't he have drones?
well, he's got so many companies that he does, but you're probably thinking of the internet satellites.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget what that system's called, but yeah, that's basically I think what it's all for.
Satellite train, whatever it's called.
Yeah, they're calling them satellite trains, right? Yeah, there's quite a lot to look at here in this new Colorado DLC. It's pretty awesome. Tunnels and rock faces and all kinds of stuff. So just one day in Disney, man. And it wasn't even memorable enough that you don't even remember really anything about it.
I don't recall. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Well, I just think that the whole reason we were talking about it was because of the experiences we've given our kids. And when you talk about whether it's lucky or blessed with us, doing that jet ski tour a few years ago, I might have told the story on YouTube already where we had the choice. I gave the kids the choice, the whole family the choice, of either going to see a dolphin show or renting skis for a jet ski tour. And we found out some dolphin places don't treat their animals the best. So we decided not to do the dolphin show. So we rented the jet skis and we did this long thing out into the Gulf of Mexico, and we ended up seeing dolphins anyway. And the girls Heather ended up touching one. She jumped into the middle of the ocean.
And she jumped into the middle of the ocean. Both the girls did, actually.
And went and were
they
touching
swam.
dolphins. I don't think Savannah ever touched it, but it was really close to Savannah, and Heather touched it.
Yeah, they were so close.
They got a better experience in the wild than they would have gotten with
there was a lot of dolphins.
the dolphin
There
experience.
was probably, what, 30 dolphins?
Well, when you think about it, we wouldn't have had that experience if it hadn't been for those people. I don't want to say idiots, but I mean, they were really doing something they shouldn't have been doing by feeding dolphins
Yeah,
bread and sandwiches or whatever they were feeding them.
they were.
It looked like they were throwing whole ham sandwiches out the boat to attract these dolphins.
I don't think so.
They were, yeah, I remember them physically like holding. I'm like, that looks like a whole sandwich, and the dolphins were like
awful.
jumping up, trying to get whatever it is they were throwing out.
Yeah.
It might have just been bread, but still, it was a pretty cool experience. And that's, I mean, if you don't remember much about Disney, our girls will always remember that, I think.
The dolphin experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they probably won't remember pulling up onto the beach on the jet skis so we could explore that one, you know,
The shell
that island or whatever it was. But
Wasn't it called like Shell
I
Island?
think it was. But they'll remember the dolphins for sure. Remember we saw a shark while we were out there?
Yeah. All I remember, well, I remember the dolphins, but it was really hard to get Heather up on that jet ski after.
Yeah. We were going to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah.
She got it eventually.
Without turning the jet ski over.
I'm starting to hear in my headphones that he's yawning, the driver, which means he's getting tired. It's 5:46 and I'm scheduled to be there by 7:46 in 2 hours. So I need to get there and
Your driver needs to drink some water.
no, he needs to stop and do jumping jacks, but he doesn't have time. So it'll just make him tired. Tireder? I think so. More tired?
I'm tired.
I don't think the energy he'll get from doing jumping jacks will make up for the time he loses by having to stop to do them. Because now I'm only an hour and 45 minutes away. Oh, I hit the wrong button! Oh, I meant to hit F6 and I hit the number 6. My goodness. I'm gonna crash this thing. I've got an hour and 16 minutes left, and it says I'm not going to make it. Darn it! I might just have to stop. We'll finish this on the next day. Are you ready to stop?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Gas and food. Next exit. Rest area. It said a rest. Yeah, it's the next exit. I'll just stop.
Good timing.
Actually, am I going to be able to get back on? Oh yeah, there it is, way over there, okay. I might have to go out the back exit of the gas station to get on, yeah. Let's see what it's doing there. Well, at least I don't have to gas up. Alright, let's get over here and find a spot to park. Old truck. I think I'm going to buy a trailer. Maybe someone can let me know in the comment section. If I buy a trailer in this game, does that mean I don't have to sleep anymore because he'll technically be resting while they're loading the truck up? That was my hope. Where is the rest area? A lot of gas stations. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see that. I might be able to park right in an area where I could just skirt right out that little exit right there. Alright, we're done. We're going to shut down. We'll finish this trip up next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. This is my wife, Sherry. Thank you for coming along.
You're welcome.
Like we had anything else better to do on a Saturday night. No, people, I don't make her just sit down here and play games with me. We went out for ice cream before this. And I told her I had to play some games at least. So, this is it.
And I haven't done this in a while, so
Yeah.
if you like me talking, let old guy gamer know.
Yeah, I really wish you guys would do that. Let her know with likes and subscriptions and comments that you like these videos more than just me sitting here talking. Because, I mean, I'm reading out of the same book that she picked subjects out of today, but it's better when both of us talk. Even if we're talking about the same stuff over and over and over again, it's just more fun having two people talking back and forth than just one person droning on and on in a microphone.
Well, let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. And if you just don't care at all, just
Whatever.
let us know that too. That at least I'll go back to Lawn Mowing Simulator if it's a better game than this one. You just let us know what you're thinking.
Oh God.
Hey, you never know. I'm gonna hit enter so I can sleep. See what time it puts us back. 4:30 in the morning. Anyways, that's it for this time. I'm Olga Gamer. This was a ride along with my wife Sherry, and we'll see you next time. Until then, you guys go watch some more videos, and I'll go play some more games. Bye.
Bye.